Hey everybody, Trevor here again, and today we're going to talk about notebooks in Trevorwithdata. Notebooks is a really cool way that I've always loved to interface with data. Of course, I'm a data scientist at heart, so I've always loved the notebook format for analyzing data. And so we've kind of adopted that in Trevorwithdata. And I'm going to show you some of the cool features that come with notebooks. And we're going to do a deep dive into the table builder functionality. So let's start by creating a new notebook. When I create a new notebook, you can see I've got all my list of dimensions, metrics, and segments that I want to use here. And in the notebook, it's laid out by blocks. So these blocks can do different things. I've got a table builder block. I've got a SQL query block. I've got a text markdown block. So you can create a story that's sort of repeatable. I love notebooks because they're kind of like a scientific paper almost. You can create an analysis, describe what you've done, and it's all in a very repeatable format that anyone can reproduce and that you can share with others. So now that I've got these notebooks available, I want to really dive into the table builder block, which we cover in this week's blog post. So the table builder block is probably familiar if you've used a lot of those BI tools or other digital analytics tools. But essentially, it allows you to drag and drop dimensions, metrics, and segments to do analysis very quickly. So, for example, I might want to look at device type, dimension, and I can bring in, different metrics. So I could see how many devices I have of each device type, or I can look at the number of events that I have. Dragging in metrics, I just drag these right into the table. You can see it kind of highlights the whole table, and it keeps appending it onto the list there. And with dimensions, you can add them as a column in the table itself, which is kind of nice if you want to see things as a side-by-side view. Or I can actually do a breakdown if I want to. And it supports up to 5 levels deep on the breakdown, so I can go as deep as I like to go. One other really nice thing is that it includes a visualize button, so I can easily kind of visually compare the things that I have in my table, highlighting and de-highlighting different elements that I care about. And of course, there's a date selection with preset date ranges, or you can put in your own custom date or rolling window. Segments, of course, which I've covered previously, you can add at the whole table level or to individual columns or both if you want to. So a lot of really rich functionality here in the table builder. Now, you can always add more blocks to a notebook to kind of create that data narrative that you're trying to share with others. But oftentimes you may want to have the AI kind of help you out. And that's one of the really cool things about having Ask Trevor as an embedded assistant that you can kind of bring in as well. So, for example, if I wanted to say add a marketing channels analysis to my notebook, please add lots of descriptive text and suggestions for me. Now, the AI assistant is smart enough to know that you're looking at a brand new notebook that you're creating. It can look at all of the different context of what you've already added to the notebook so far, and then kind of use that as it kind of helps you build out the notebook. So you can see it's looking at the different dimensions and metrics that I have, checking to make sure that the report that it wants to run is viable, and now can add this information into the notebook itself. Awesome. You can see it has all the data that it needs now. Now it's kind of telling me what it's going to do. It's going to add in a bunch of blocks into my notebook for me. And fast forwarding a little bit, we can see, let me give this a little more space. We can see all of the really rich information that the Trevor assistant has added to our notebook. You can see it's done a very rich marketing channel performance analysis. It kind of gives us an overview of what's covered in the analysis. It gives a guide on how to read the different elements of the report. It says, okay, here's a channel performance summary. I can see the different marketing channels that I asked it to do. It gives us some key takeaways from the channel performance, looking at revenue leaders and efficiency observations. It now looks at channel times source drill down, which is pretty cool. Looking at source level insights. It looks at a weekly trend. So you can really have this assistant do a lot of the heavy lifting for you in an analysis, looking at device types and other things, which is really quite powerful and helps you speed up your capabilities. But one of the last things I'll show you in this is how the table blocks can be used in lots of different places. And one of the things I wanted to show you is if you're in the Ask Trevor dedicated AI experience, the table builder blocks can be used by the AI directly embedded within your conversation. So if I were to say, give me a report of new visitors by day, the AI is now intelligent enough to not force me to go to a notebook to do my analysis, but bring the table directly into my chat here, which is pretty nice. Yeah, so you can see it's created a table directly within the chat. I can now get a lot of the same neat options that I had before of visualizing it. I can change the date. You can see that it also allows me to open this in a notebook if I want to start using a notebook from the chat as a jump off point. So anyway, that's table builder, notebooks, and blocks. You should expect to see a lot more interesting blocks and notebook capabilities over the next few weeks. That's where I'm going to be focusing my time. But yeah, thanks for watching and good luck out there.